want to get better at Kiriko, well, you've come to the right place. If this is your first time here, hey, I'm Lexari, an Overwatch player just like you who spent an unhealthy amount of time playing Kiriko. And before you sprint to the comments asking, why should I listen to you? Here are my credentials. I've peaked GM3 playing Kiriko. I'm hero level 100 at the time of recording, and I currently have a 60% win rate on her. Hopefully that's enough to earn your trust because, well, I'm employed. Are you ready? Let's get into it. First, let's understand what Kiriko's actual job is. Kiriko is probably one of the most well-rounded flex supports in Overwatch. She has incredible mobility, respectable healing, and some of the highest carry potential of any support thanks to her damage. Your goal isn't to sit in the back heal botting your tank, it's to constantly weave between healing your team and pressuring the enemy. Think of yourself as your team support, while simultaneously being an unpaid part-time DPS. You're throwing healing Afuda, landing kunai, looking for picks, cleansing important abilities, and making sure your teammates don't explode all at the same time. It sounds like a lot, and honestly, sometimes it is. But don't worry, by the end of this guide you'll understand the decision making behind it all, so it starts feeling natural instead of overwhelming. Now let's talk about positioning. Positioning is important on every hero, but it's absolutely essential on Kiriko. We always want to position ourselves somewhere that lets us keep weaving. If you're wondering what I mean by weaving, it's simply the rhythm of alternating between healing and dealing damage instead of tunnel visioning one or the other. If you're only healing, you're leaving damage on the table, and if you're only dealing damage, your tank is probably writing you a very strongly worded essay in team chat. So where should you actually play? Generally speaking, every fight has 3 lanes. They are main, off angle, or high ground. Kiriko gets the most value from playing off angles and high ground. These positions let you pressure the enemy from unexpected angles while still being close enough to swift step back to your team if things get scary. One mistake I see a lot of Kiriko players make is standing main with the rest of their team for the entire fight. You can do it when your team needs immediate healing or you're stabilizing after a fight, but you don't want to live there. Your value skyrockets when you're forcing the enemy to look at you. Every second the enemy DPS is turning around to deal with the annoying little fox throwing kunai at their forehead is a second they're not shooting your teammates. So in short, off angles and high ground are your best friends. Now that we've covered positioning, let's talk about Kiriko's abilities and, more importantly, how you should actually be using them. Let's start with Swift Step. Swift Step lets you teleport to one of your teammates on a 6-second cooldown. One of the biggest mistakes I see Kiriko players make is using Swift Step aggressively. For example, teleporting directly onto your tank because you want to help secure a kill. If you're doing that consistently, you're probably doing it wrong. Next up is Protection Suzu. Suzu is arguably one of the strongest abilities in Overwatch. Yes, it cleanses negative effects. Yes, it grants brief invulnerability. But what newer Kiriko players don't realize is that sometimes Suzu's biggest value is simply buying time. Don't be afraid to throw Suzu down just to give yourself another second. That extra second is often all you need to get your healing out, save a teammate, and completely swing the fight back in your favor. The biggest mistake players make with Suzu is holding onto it forever because they're waiting for the perfect cleanse. And sometimes the perfect Suzu is just the one that keeps your team alive. Finally, let's talk about Kitsune Rush. A common misconception is that Kitsune Rush is an engage ultimate, and most of the time, it isn't. Instead, think of it as a momentum ultimate. You want to use it once your team has already built pressure. Maybe your tank has pushed forward, maybe you've landed a pick, maybe the enemy has started backing up. That's when you unleash the fox. Kitsune Rush amplifies the momentum your team already has, making it incredibly difficult for the enemy team to recover. Instead of using it to start a fight, use it to make sure your team wins the one you've already started. Now that we've covered Kiriko's abilities, let's talk about her perks. Starting with your minor perk, you'll have the choice between Urgent Care and Fortune Teller. Honestly, both have their place. That being said, after putting an unhealthy number of hours into Kiriko, I almost always choose Fortune Teller. And the reason is, it complements Kiriko's playstyle perfectly. Remember earlier when we talked about weaving damage and healing? Fortune Teller rewards you for doing exactly that. Instead of only keeping your teammate alive, you're also helping them win the duel by adding meaningful damage of your own. Now, that doesn't mean you stop healing. That's far from it, actually.
I think it's fine that you let me die, Lex.
As you improve on Kiriko, you'll naturally develop a better feel for each fight. You'll start recognizing when your teammate needs immediate healing and when you can sneak in another kunai because they're already winning the duel. If you're still learning Kiriko or you're not very confident landing your shots, I'd actually recommend Urgent Care. Fortune Teller gets significantly more value the more consistently you can hit your kunai, so don't feel bad if you're not there yet. For your major perk, I recommend Foxtrot almost every game. Personally, I find it offers far more consistent value than Ready Step. Foxtrot gives your entire team extra mobility, which is incredibly useful for both engaging and disengaging from fights. Ready Step definitely has situations where it can work, but if you're looking for the perk that's going to provide reliable value in the vast majority of your games, I would stick with Foxtrot. And that brings us to the end of this guide. I genuinely hope this helped you better understand how to play Kiriko, and more importantly, why you make the decisions you do while playing her. If you found this guide helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you love to like and subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a ton and lets me know you'd like to see more guides like this in the future. If you'd like to watch me put all of this into practice live, I also stream over on Twitch. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, happy climbing, and I'll see you in the next one.